Okay, folks, gather around, because what I'm about to tell you might just be the most exciting update in the entire Godzilla fandom right now. You remember when Godzilla Minus One released and completely blew everyone away? Critics, fans, and even the freaking Oscars? Yeah, that movie wasn't just a hit. It was a cultural moment, and now we have confirmation, not speculation, not rumor, confirmation that a sequel is officially in development. That's right, Godzilla 2 is happening. And no, this isn't just another kaiju movie from the same director. This is the direct sequel to Godzilla Minus One. Let me show you the receipts. Initially, reports just stated that director Takashi Yamazaki was working on a new big-budget kaiju project. Cool, but vague. But then things started to escalate. According to Superhero Hype and multiple corroborating outlets, filming for the sequel begins on August 30th, 2025 in Ibaraki Prefecture. That alone raised eyebrows. But the real game changer, Ryunosuke Kamiki and Minami Hamabe, Koichi and Noriko from Minus One, are both reportedly returning. These aren't background characters. These are the emotional heart and soul of the first film. Their return confirms one crucial thing. This is not a spin-off, not a reboot, but a direct narrative continuation. This is Godzilla Minus Two, even if Toho isn't calling it that yet. Now, before we dive into what this sequel might be about, let's talk about how Godzilla Minus One ended, because that's where the mystery really begins. After one of the most devastating and heroic final acts in recent movie history, Godzilla is seemingly destroyed. Koichi and his team launch a final attack, split Godzilla into fragments using pressure differentials in a risky plan. And for a moment, it works. He's blown to pieces. Everyone breathes. And then, we cut to the ocean floor. We see glowing fragments of Godzilla, slowly reassembling. And just before the screen fades to black, his eye opens. Boom! Credits. That, my friends, was not just a cool teaser. It was a message. Godzilla is not dead. He's regenerating. And here's where it gets interesting. During Godzilla Fest in Osaka, the director Takashi Yamazaki made a statement that changes everything. He confirmed that the mysterious black mark on Noriko's neck, the one we all assume was just radiation burn from the blast, was actually made of G cells. Yes, Godzilla DNA. That one tiny detail opens the door to a much bigger threat. Let me explain. G cells are essentially Godzilla's regenerative, mutagenic cells. In older Toho lore, these G cells were used to create new kaiju, most notably Biollante. In 1989's Godzilla vs. Biolante, a scientist grieving the loss of his daughter merged Godzilla's DNA with human and plant DNA, hoping to resurrect her. The result was Biolante, a monstrous plant-like kaiju with terrifying power and tragic origins. And now, in 2025, Toho has a golden opportunity to reinvent Biolante for the modern era. Let's connect the dots like a proper kaiju detective. Noriko survives an explosion that should have killed her. She comes back with a G-cell infection on her neck. That's not just symbolism, that's setup. She's literally carrying Godzilla's DNA in her body. What if that DNA begins to change her? Slowly at first, maybe she starts hearing Godzilla's roar in her sleep, or plants start reacting to her presence. Eventually, she begins mutating, not necessarily into the old-school Biolante, but a new version, a more grounded, more tragic, more Minus One style Biolante that's born not from a mad scientist, but from trauma, love, and the aftermath of war. Think about the emotional stakes. Koichi, the man who saved her, now has to watch her lose her humanity. Maybe he sees her struggle. Maybe the government gets involved, wanting to weaponize her. Maybe she disappears into the forest, vines creeping up around her as her transformation accelerates, and eventually, she's no longer Noriko. She's something else, something monstrous, Biolante, but somewhere inside, she still remembers Koichi. That's the kind of villain we're talking about, one with layers, one who makes the audience cry and cheer at the same time. And let's not forget, Biolante isn't just special because she's plant Godzilla hybrid horror. She's special because she's the first kaiju that wasn't just evil or chaotic. She was tragic. She didn't attack for fun. She attacked because she was in pain. And that fits perfectly with the emotional tone of Minus One. Imagine the battles. Godzilla, fully regenerated, rising from the sea once again. But this time, his enemy isn't a rival alpha or a parasite. It's a hybrid creature with his own DNA, one that feels oddly familiar, one that he hesitates to attack. And now you have a cinematic masterpiece on your hands. And let's go a level deeper, because the G-cell infection doesn't just stop at Biolante. In old Toho continuity, Biolante's spores floated into space, and eventually gave birth to Space Godzilla. You heard that right, Toho was already cooking the shared universe long before Marvel did it. So this sequel could be step 2 in a much longer arc. First, Noriko transforms into Biolante, and in a future film, those G-cells reach orbit. Space Godzilla becomes inevitable. But let's bring it back to Godzilla 2. Here's what we could be looking at for a potential storyline. The movie begins with Japan in a fragile peace. People are rebuilding. But Noriko starts acting strange. Her health declines, plants start growing unnaturally fast around her. Koichi tries to help, but he can see something's wrong. Meanwhile, strange signals from the ocean indicate Godzilla is reforming, stronger, maybe even evolved. The climax? Biolante rises from the forest in a terrifying fusion of vine, bone, and grief. Godzilla emerges from the sea. The two meet, but they hesitate. Something ancient and biological ties them together. And Koichi? He's caught in the middle of it all. That's not just a kaiju movie. That's art. That's tragedy. That's cinema. So yes, Godzilla 2 is happening, the cast is returning, the G-cells are mutating, and Biolante might be blooming again. If that doesn't get you hyped, check your pulse. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below with your favorite Godzilla monster and who you think should appear next. Maybe Space Godzilla, maybe Destoroyah. The kaiju future is wide open, and we're just getting started. Stay radioactive, my friends.